I spent 100 days in a Minecraft fairy world, and this is how it started. Day 0 started off like any other Minecraft Let's Play first day kind of thing, getting wood. So we chopped down this beautiful maple tree from the Biomes of Plenty mod, and with those logs I make a crafting table, sticks, the classic wooden pickaxe. This is the Feywild Lexicon. No idea what this means, but this is day 0, so we'll just put it in the inventory for later. Then I went to collect some pumpkins and just get acquainted with the new scenery when I spot a beautiful village, so of course I have to go pillage the village. We start by stealing all of their goodies from their chests, but unfortunately it seems like someone didn't like this very much. So he came to give me a quick little scare. And then back to stealing all of their stuff, which wasn't very good. Even the beds too. Feeling like the Grinch, stealing the last can of Who Hash. I was also making friends with the locals. Unemployed. Get a job, you bum. I knew I overstayed my welcome, so I set my waypoint and went to discover local flora and fauna. Ah, what the? Ah! Cranberry! And now to slaughter the local fauna. Cute! I then slaughtered the lot. Stupid pig. Dying by the cranberries. I then encountered my first dangers. Fruit bat. Cute. And they were persistent. Ah! They're following me! At this moment I knew I needed to create a safety hole to heal myself. As all epic Minecraft gamers do. Nom nom nom, nom nom nom. As I retreated my hidey hole, I noticed the sun was coming down. And to end day 0, I made a torch and placed my bed. And now it's day 1. Our adventure starts. Yay! I started day 1 by collecting the coal that I didn't finish collecting. And then I started off on my long journey to find a place to call my forever home. On my trek, I found something in the sky casting a big shadow, which I assumed was a beautiful sky village, so I put that in my notes and kept on going. It was in this big shadow where I killed my first mobs. Yay! And in the shadows I saw a creature, and it scared me, so I ran away. I then found a cave, and I contemplated. And then I decided, no, I won't. But then I decided, yes, I will, because I do need stuff from this cave. Unfortunately, this cave was very lackluster, but that's good in a way because I don't want to die, but also, I gotta get out of here. The first biome I was greeted with was this lovely autumn biome, and I found something a little odd. Inventory pet. And how funny that this specifically is the pet that I was using in my last video. That's kind of crazy, honestly. I then found the cutest little thing ever. Ghost. But I wasn't sure exactly how to tame it, so I kind of stared at him. It's so cute. And tried to offer him some cabbage seeds, but he ran away. In order to adventure to my far out lands, I needed to make a boat to cross the beautiful Minecraft ocean. As I watched the sunset, I placed down my boat and my bed on the beautiful gravel beach, and that, my friends, was the end of day number 1. Day number 2 started by breaking my bed, getting in my boat, and sailing to find something. And something was found indeed. Looks to be a sword plunged into the middle of the ocean. Obviously, I had to go investigate. I started breaking into it, not really expecting anything, but hoping for something. And inside this sword was a barrel. Full of awesome stuff! So I took the lot and then headed on my way. When I reached the land, I saw an awesome prize waiting for me, a cool waystone, which I will use in my future home. I then placed down my crafting table and began making armor with the gifts I got from the sword to hopefully not die. I spotted a magical tree in this icy landscape. What is that? Home to a creature, which I've never seen before. I approached the creatures in hopes of getting new information or maybe making friends. But they weren't interested in that. The guilt weighed on my shoulders.
I'm sorry.
They stared at me,
Please stop
menacingly,
looking at me. Oh my
and I knew I had to evacuate fast. I ran away, and just when I thought it was safe,
Another one.
this place is dangerous. So I placed down my boat and began riding the icy river to hopefully get far, far, far away from whatever those creatures were. I then went into a cave, got scared, made a hidey hole, and that was the end of day 2. The start of day 3 was inside of this ravine cave, and I knew I needed to get out, obviously. And with the magic of editing, I was free, but I was still in the scary land, so I needed to find a way out of there ASAP. Great part about boats on ice, very fast. Also, bad thing about boats on ice, very fast. So I had to abandon my boat and run away like a scared little weenie. So onward I went, on foot this time, and I found another structure. As I walked by, I heard a lot of crazy noises, and me being me, I needed to investigate, but in a safe way. So I broke into their home. And inside were a bunch of strays, but also, there was loot in there, so I knew I needed to get back in. And honestly, except for the apple, it was kind of booty, so. And because I'm such a pro gamer, I jump right into powdered snow. As I sank further down into the snow, I really realized that this place is not safe for someone of my caliber. But because I am so awesome, I did manage to find my way out. I then crafted my second boat, and off I went. For real this time. The sun began to set as I reached land, and I took a little nap. And that was the end of day 3. The start of day 4 left me with a pep in my step, and I knew I needed to actually do something and not just, walk around and get scared by entities. So I decided that around here is where I would make my base area. But of course, before starting to build my base or even collect stuff for my base, I had to do a little side quest, as per usual. So I looted and then I left. I found an alright area to start placing down my stuff and make it a temporary base. I smelted my iron and made my first iron pick. I set my waypoint for my new home so I wouldn't lose it, and then off I was to collect the resources for said home. Or so I thought, but the sun was setting, so that means back to home base, quick nap, then we can collect resources. This challenge has made me realize just how short Minecraft days are. In fact, when you spend your whole day dilly-dallying and running around, it kinda adds up. And that was the end of day number 4. So I collected these purple umbran logs, quite a few of them actually. I also collected some of these deadwood logs, in hopes that this would make a cute color palette. I then got to base and started setting up my color palette. I then stared at my color palette for a while, trying to think if this is really what I wanted. I decided it was good enough and began construction on my build. Now, I'm definitely not the best builder in the whole world, so it took me a while just counting, placing, and breaking, and just putting a whole lot of effort into this. I then decided I wanted to use the dead logs instead of the umbran for the bottom part, so I needed more of the dead saplings. It doesn't help that I'm terrible at math, so my timing and placement of blocks was also all out of whack, so I had to fix that. I spent the last bit of day 5 just hollowing out the inside of the build. And thus ended day 5, sleeping outside, yet again. And you'll never guess it, day 6 was also spent building. I definitely have dirt for days now, though. And just like that, the inside was hollowed out. Now it's time to begin construction on the outside. Just kidding! I spent 30 more minutes just trying to even out this shape here. Okay, now it's time for the outside. I finished the arch and went to look and realized it was looking like that, so we had to fix that. Now that is an arch McDonald's would be proud of. The sun began to set on day 6 while I was making the arch still. Gotta make it look perfect, okay? And that, my friends, was the end of day number 6. Now for a shocker, everyone, day number 7 was spent building. And of course, collecting more resources. Finally got the arch figured out, so now it's time for the roof. Going inside to clear out the dirt so you could see the roof wasn't a part of the bucket list, but it had to be done. Basically, guys, I spent way too long making this place, so let's just skip to how it looks in the end, okay? But first, a real quick sleep to end day 7, and then we'll see how it looks. As I placed the doors and the stairs, I realized that this wasn't quite the fairy vibe I was going for. It's more like a evil lair. So after a bunch of deliberation, I just decided that this would be my evil base of operations, where I hold other stuff, and not my house. For the floor, I used the fluorescent maple logs that I got the saplings from earlier in the playthrough. And just like that, my evil lair was done. Ish. Of course, the interior's not done, but the exterior is done, and that's what matters. I then had to go to work, so day 8 left unfinished, until next time. And unfortunately, when I got back online, I indeed forgot that you cannot play music on your computer while trying to record, so there is no audio for days number 8 through 15. Sorry. This day was the day I decided to place down my waystone for my home, and I titled it The Lair. But I accidentally put a typo and I didn't realize, and I don't know how to change it. So it's the lay now. The lay. I then decided to get started on some of my bucket list items by collecting some wheat seeds to make a farm. Quick snooze later, it's on to day number 9. I decided that right on top of my evil lair would be the perfect spot for my farm. So I began the tedious task of placing and counting and placing and counting. To break up the monotony, I also began constructing a staircase that would lead directly to the farm. The end of day 9 was spent finishing out the farm, placing my seeds and, farm stuff. Then on to a quick nap, and that leads us to day number 10. At the start of day 10, I used the last bit of iron I had to make a bucket for water. Definitely what I needed, and definitely not a new iron pick or anything. And just like that, boom, my farm was complete. Well, except all the seeds I needed, but those will come with time. I then promptly finished my staircase. Yippee! With my prior knowledge of cranberries and hostile fruit, I decided that I would use hostile fruit in order to ensure that no mobs would hurt me. And this actually came in handy later in the series. Since I used my last pieces of iron for a bucket, I decided now would be the perfect time to start a strip mine. I then spent the rest of day 10 digging down. I spotted the darkness and I knew that that was the end of day number 10. Thank you guys so much for watching the first installment of 100 Days in a Minecraft Fairy World. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next part. Bye!